so far today? What is your win so far today? Type it in the chat. Let's get some wins coming in here. What's your win so far today? Type it in the chat. Get some wins coming in here. Adding to our network. Good. I like that. Somebody else, what's a win from today? I'm moving forward on my first deal. Way to go, Sandy. Randy, good to see you. Couldn't unmute to say. All good, brother. DeWitt got a wholesale deal assigned and another showing this evening. Let's go. Brian picked up keys from a property that's under contract today. Heck yeah. Valerie's getting excited about making calls and getting out of her own way. Guys, this is incredible. Denise says, day one, talk to a homeowner using your script. Yolanda said, another opportunity to crush it. That's right. We're live and breathing and blessed by the best. Deb, working on a CR today and talking with wholesaler. This is good. Guys, I love seeing these wins. So welcome back. Welcome back. We have a jam-packed, exciting day to share with you today. Tomorrow, I want to make mention of this, and I'll repeat it at the end for you. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing a special Freedom Edition. And so all of you who are veterans, we want to honor you. All of you who are serving in the military, we're going to have a special Freedom Edition. We're going to be talking about freedom and what it means to each of us, not only in the sense of our country, which is vital, also, though, developing our life of freedom. And so we're going to be talking a lot about freedom tomorrow and come back for a patriotic and amazing Freedom Thursday. All right. So hop on in. Jam-packed day. Number one, I'm going to give you two deals that I'm working. And I am just, and thank you to all the veterans for your service. We're going to be talking more about that tomorrow, all of you in the military. And just come back. Even for those of you who are having gatherings, I do ask you if possible. I know some of you are going to be with family and possibly can't, but majority of you just hop in and just, if nothing else, just to assist us in honoring all of the great men and women who fight for this country or who risk their lives or who are serving this country. So, all right, let's delve in. Two deals. Number one, I want you to write down the city. It's Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And then number two, I want you to write down a second city as soon as I find it. I want you to write down Rockford, Illinois. All right. So Elizabethtown, Kentucky, and Rockford, Illinois. Now, underneath that, I'm going to have you to write out the numbers on each of these deals and talk about why we went the way we did with the conversation. If you want to see these conversations, one of them is on YouTube from me live streaming last night, and the other one is on my iPad and will soon be posted on YouTube. So for those of you who are struggling or getting in your own way, or for those of you who have done a ton of deals, I want you to take some really good notes on here to think about how you could add 10, 20, 30, $40,000 of profit to deals, even if you're experienced already doing them. What I'm going to show you will get you potentially a lot more profit on your deals. And for those of you who are looking for your first deal, I want you to just live and breathe in this to really begin to embody the person who asks great questions to get to the proper conclusion. So Valerie calls Veronica calls this lead from Facebook Marketplace in Rockford, Illinois. Ask them the term question. This guy is a investor. Actually, he lived in Illinois. I found this out on the call. You'll see it on the YouTube when you go back and watch the YouTube call from last night. This guy lived in Illinois. He's originally from another country, Europe, I believe it was. And he ended up moving from Illinois to Vegas, now to California. So interestingly enough, I was born and raised in Illinois. So is he. And I'm in California right now. And he's just about 10 minutes from where we are right now. So we had a great conversation. I share that because I learned that in a 30 to 60 second time span of this call. just by asking him questions. And the rapport that was built was incredible. So find out that he has this property. He wants to sell it. It's across the road from a casino where property values are going way up. The challenge is that he is wanted to have it on 1 year. So write this number down: 130,000. 130,000 is what he's dead set on getting for the property. And then, excuse me, and then we know that it's worth probably a little bit more than that, but it's been renting for around 1,400 a month. So if we look at this deal, we say, okay, we've got a deal in Rockford, Illinois, and the monthly payment that he's asking is 1,200 a month, or 1,300 a month, excuse me. So actually, by the time he would get 1,300 a month, write down 1,300. So 14 would be our projected rent that we could get on the place. 1,300 is what he's asking for. So we have to bring him around to the reality that it isn't going to support $1,300. Why? Because it's 1,300 to him, plus taxes, plus insurance is the way he's told Veronica he would like to do it. And so we walk them through. Write this down. Have them tell you why their number don't make sense. I'm going to explain that. Have them tell you why their number don't make sense. So I didn't do it on this call because, Veronica, if you're listening, your handwriting reminds me of mine. I was having trouble identifying a few of the notes, so I didn't quite understand. Maybe I just read too quickly. And so I didn't quite understand what he was looking to get, 1,300 plus. So what I would normally do in that case, what I asked him is I said, are you flexible on the 1,300, knowing that the house, it has to support the numbers that we're going to do? This is a writer downer phrase you're going to use a lot. The house will need to support it, or the house doesn't support that number. It has nothing to do, because what some sellers will do is they'll try to say, well, Randy, what can you afford to pay for this house? It's nothing. It doesn't matter what I can afford. It doesn't matter if I can afford $3,000 a month or $13,000 or $50,000 a month to pay for a house. It doesn't mean that the house supports it. So I immediately turn that conversation back. If somebody ever asks me what I can afford to pay for it, I'll chuckle and I'll say, well, the point of this discussion is, what can the house afford as far as a payment? This house, I wouldn't be doing it unless it makes money. And I'll just say that bluntly. Immediately brings it back to reality. So what can this house afford? So I said, well, we're open to a number the house can afford. And so I have not yet done this with this gentleman. I got an email back from Veronica this morning. So the final conversation, as this gentleman is coming across the finish line, is going to be bring him to the reality and have him tell us why the number don't make sense. So here's how we do that. We ask great questions. So first question I'm going to ask is, now remind me, you said 1,400 rent? Yeah. Okay. And I've had these conversations with so many sellers. It always goes the same. I say, okay, cool. And then were the tenants taking care of the maintenance and repairs, or was that all on you? Inevitably, the answer is always going to be, it's on me. Okay. So that's probably, what would you say that cost you a month over the years? And if they had just told me they just replaced the HVAC, for example, I'd say, well, darn, you just told me to spend $8,000 on the HVAC. That's take a few years to recoup that, won't it? So I may tie back to what they just told me, if that's possible. If not, I say, okay, well, normally we'd figure what, 20%. So 1,400. So you're looking at what, $1,000 a month, and then what's taxes and insurance on the place? And then he'll tell me $3,000 a year, $4,000. Okay, cool. So $300 a month. So you're telling me right now you would say you're netting around $700 a month on the place? So see how I just brought them to tell me what they are actually getting on the place. And notice how I just took the numbers from 1,400, what he says he wants, to 700, half, which is close to where I want to be. So I'll say, okay, so knowing I'm responsible for the maintenance, repairs, taxes, and insurance, if I could get you somewhere close to that 700 a month, would this be doable for you? So I immediately just showed them why my offer at half of what they were getting makes sense. And it does, because they have no headaches. If they told me they're tired of calling tenants, I'll say, well, the only call you're getting from me is the one when I'm sending you a check. And so I will keep tying back to the fact that I'm going to solve your challenge, whatever that is. And so after we've anchored back to that point, now we come to the conclusion. The other big challenge we have to get over with this gentleman is he wanted a 1-year balloon. I said, oh my goodness. I said, I don't want to make you a promise I can't keep. Why so short? And he says, well, I'm doing you a favor by financing this and I won't be getting any return on my money. I said, got it. He said, well, I understand it has to be a win for you as much as it does for us. So what would you need to make it appetizing for you to want to finance longer, maybe a few years? Notice I didn't say, would you be willing to go longer? I said, what would you need in order to finance it longer? So type it in the chat. Actually, I want to make sure everybody's awake and here. Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. What do you need? This is such a magic question to ask every freaking seller. What do you need? All right. So they tell us what they need. And he says, well, I would need interest. I got it. I said, okay. Well, normally when we're paying retail, we don't add interest in there. I'm open, though, to the discussion. What kind of interest rate would you want if we could consider doing that? He said, oh, probably like 5%. I said, okay. So you're telling me, write this down, repeat back what he just said. So I said, so you're telling me if we could agree somewhere around the 130, knowing I'm not a realtor, there's no 6% commission and I'm paying the closing. Notice how I keep pushing the benefits. And I could get you somewhere close to what you're netting now, the $700 a month, and remove those headaches for you, that you would entertain at a 5% interest rate going up to maybe 5 or 10 years. So just immediately change the terms from, yeah, I'll sell it to you for $1,300 a month and 1-year balloon, take it or leave it, to, okay, maybe this makes sense for me. Why? Because I found what he needed. I could have went in and said, oh, we'll give you a big down payment. That ain't what he was needing. He's wanting to make sure that his money is sitting in that house, because his exact words to me was, I got to buy another house and it's going to cost me money if I'm borrowing money and leaving all this money sitting in this house. So his objective is to figure out how he can make money on his money, so that if he's borrowing the money over here in his right hand, that his left hand ain't losing money that he's financing to us. So as long as we can make sense of the 130 that he's owner financed us and cover his interest for the extra 130 he has to buy for the new house. See, if we go in with the mentality of thinking he needs all of this crap that he don't even care about, then we're going to lose every time. So we have a follow-up with him. Now I'm going to talk to you about one other seller I just talked to this morning, and I'm going to put this up. In fact, I'm going to post this for your convenience, unedited, probably I don't actually know. I'll figure out how to get it to you guys. But in the next 24, 48 hours, I'm going to get this for you guys to watch. So this seller in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, we're going to go into the Elizabethtown, Kentucky route, and say, this seller calls me. And I said, hey, what can you tell me about the house? Boom. Magic question. He talks for the next 3.5 minutes. And I'm going, okay. Okay. Why? Because he's telling me about his debt. He told me he was $18,000 behind, if my memory serves me correctly, that he paid $12,000 toward those arrears. Now he's behind again, that it's a VA loan, that it's 3.55% interest, that his payments are $1,500 a month. Notice how much information I'm just gathering like that? And so I said, got it. What is that mortgage amount? He said, it's like 220 something. So write down 220 below your Elizabethtown note. Below that, write down 1,500 per month. And I'm rounding numbers. You'll see it on the video down to the almost exact $1,500 a month. That includes principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. 3.55% interest. How many of you would like a few $1 million of 3.55% interest, non-personal guaranteed debt right now? Give me a thumbs up or two. So he says to me, he says, I really need to get out of here. I said, well, what kind of price would you be looking for? Are you willing to sell this for what you owe? And he says, man, I really need to get some money in my pocket. I have some credit cards. I said, got it. How much are on the credit cards? He says, I have $32,000, but I'm sure they'll negotiate down. I said, okay. I said, so he goes, the realtor told me it's worth 285, but he told me everything that was wrong with it and everything I needed to do. I said, okay. So if I was to buy the house, close on it whenever you want, bring the mortgage current, take over that underlying 3.55% interest debt, start making the payments when you and I agree. This is a very important note. What's the least amount you would take for your equity above the current debt? It's a writer downer. He already told me he would not sell for what he owes. What's the least you would take for your equity above the current debt? This is called repositioning. Note down the word repositioning. If someone ever gets hung up on price, no, I need 240 for my house. No, I need this. I reposition. I'm breaking it up, comes back to the same numbers, but I'm going, okay, if I took over your 220, what's the least you would accept for your equity on top? Now, two more phrases I added in there, and that I wanted to say that alone for you guys as a script piece. Two other notes I added in there. I said, knowing that I'm going to be bringing your $12,000 or $13,000 behind that you're behind current, and I'm not a realtor, so no percent commissions or fees, and I'm paying closing. Benefit. Then I find out he wants 6 weeks to move. I said, got it. I said, well, we can absolutely work on your timeline. Notice, hot button. His objective is, I need this house gone. I need you to bring the mortgage current. And so we're now in the process of negotiating, contracting this deal and making it a win-win-win. So we intend to buy this house. We intend to close on it. We intend to bring the mortgage current. And we intend to give him several $1,000s on top as well. All right. So I'll keep you guys posted on these deals. I'm working multiple deals right now, including your deals. And I want to ensure that you guys have the opportunity to jump on these deals in your markets. So I'm still calling. Let me ask you this. If I just done a special call, if I done a special VIP call starting in, say, 2 weeks, where I just call, hop on, and close your leads alongside of you for 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a week for the next month, how many of you would want to pay 50 or 60 bucks to hop on a VIP call twice a week for a month? Type in the chat if you would. Interesting. My team's going to shoot me. I should have talked to them about this idea first. Sometimes things just come to me and I say them. All right. Interesting. Okay, Michelle, Paul, note that down. I need to talk to you guys about that. See if I'm allowed to do that. All right. Interesting. So interesting. So here's what I'm desirous for you guys. Tomorrow is July 4th. It's Freedom Day. So the objective is for all of you, I'm going to show back up here. We have a very special Freedom edition of the Daily 60 Days to Deals Live. You're going to come back. We're going to share wins. We're going to share some energy. We're going to share some real estate knowledge. But more importantly, we're just going to honor our people who deserve the honor, our veterans. And we're going to continue to grow together. All right. We're just on the start of something very special here. And I have a lot more I want to share on, actually a ton more I want to share around the idea of this deal structuring. If you guys enjoyed the deal structuring today, give me a thumbs up. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys what you need. This is the feedback I've been getting from you. So, all right, we got the thumbs up coming. Okay, good. Lots of thumbs up. All right, cool. So we're going to be back tomorrow. Special Freedom Edition. Any questions that you have, note them down. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to be answering those tomorrow. And continue to get back here, bring your friends and family, and show up for the Freedom Day tomorrow. Lots of special things coming up, guys. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.